All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about making the taper easier, okay? Let's say you've been on buprenorphine for a while. Let's say you're ready to stop it, okay? So you've been through the recovery process. Your life is on track. You've got a good job. You're rebuilding your relationships. You're kind of living the life you want to live right now. And you're tired of being on medication. Maybe you're tired of the cost of medication. Maybe you're tired of going to the doctor every month. Maybe you're tired of peeing in a cup every month. And you're just ready to kind of be done with all of it. And you have started the process of tapering down. And the process starts in your mind. You got to have that mindset. You got to be ready, okay? And you got to know yourself, man. That's like the key to basic philosophy. Know yourself, and a lot of things can follow from there. So, okay. This video, we're going to talk about how to taper easier. Now, I've made the video on how to taper off in 16 weeks. I then made the kind of follow-up video, how to taper, a few things to consider. And today we're going to talk about tapering off low doses. So let's say you've tapered down. Maybe you start off with 16 milligrams, got down to 8 milligrams, and now you're at 2 milligrams a day. And this is where I see a lot of people get stuck. They get stuck on those low doses. And it is probably more difficult to go from 2 milligrams a day to 0 milligrams a day than it is to go from 16 milligrams a day to 8 milligrams a day. All right? So one way to make this easier is to, if you're on the tablets, change over to the strips and get the 2 milligram strips, okay? Now, here's some things you got to know about before you do this. All right, so with the 2 milligram strips, your pharmacy may not carry them, so they may have to order them. They'll order them for you, okay? So, but you're gonna need a day or two. So you're not gonna, you wait till your follow-up visit with your doc, and maybe you're out of meds, and he writes you the 2 milligrams. Well, then all of a sudden you're waiting 2 or 3 days to get your prescription. Well, that's not good, and that's not how you want to start off. So this is kind of you needed this conversation with your doctor early in the game, figuring out when to change. The other thing you need to know is that it may actually end up being more expensive at first, okay? And this is the thing to remember. All right, so let's say you're on 2 milligrams a day, and you're getting 8 milligrams, and you're cutting them into fourths. And so you're not having to buy as many, right? So then when you change over 2 milligrams, you're having to get a prescription for 30 of them to take 2 milligrams every day. So it may actually cost you more money. But the thing to remember is, in the long term, if this helps you to taper off quicker, it's going to save you money, all right? That's the key, okay? So we got to think long term. And if you can't think long term yet, plan ahead like that, then you're not ready to taper off, right? Because you're not ready for that kind of responsibility. But if you're watching this video, you probably are ready, and you're starting to get some things in order. If you're drug-free now, you're probably able to save money. And so you just need to think of this as an investment, but that is going to pay off for you in the long run, because you're going to have more money available once you get off medication. There, okay? So change over to 2 milligrams. Now, I think you need to be on the strips, because it's going to be easier to cut them up, okay? So if you change over to the strips, cut them into fourths. And then, on my last video, I talked about how to do the every other day, kind of adjusting the dose. Well, this one, we're just going to do a different method, and we're just going to go down by a fourth of a strip. So you're going to go from, you're going to cut them up in strips. You're going to take all 4, right, until you feel good. Then you're going to go down to 3/4 strips, okay? You're going to do that for as long as you need to, as long as you don't feel any withdrawal, any cravings. You're at least going to do it for a week to 2 weeks. You may need to do it for a month. Now, there are going to be some people who say you need to do this longer. There's going to be some people who say you can do this quicker. Look, just go with your gut. You'll feel it. You'll know how long you need to stay on the medication. Okay, so you'll go to 3/4. Then you're going to then go down to a half. Then you're going to go down to a fourth. Now, once you get to a fourth, that's a very low dose of buprenorphine, 0.5 milligrams. Then you're going to start going to every other day. You may do that for a month, every other day. That's right. And you're probably going to have these points where you'll say, I feel fine, so I just skip it. And so maybe you'll stop, and then but day 3 or 4, start feeling bad again. Okay, so that's why I say go ahead and do it every other day, and kind of get used to that pattern. Now, after you do that for a month or however long it takes, or if you could do it quicker, that's fine. You go to every 3 days. Okay. Now, at every 3 days, once you feel fine on every 3 days, you're ready to stop. Now, you may be on every 3 days for a month. I've had people on every 3 days for long periods of time. I ran into this guy at the grocery store the other day. I had not seen him in months, and so whenever I started thinking, well, what's happened? Is he falling off the wagon? He hasn't come to see me, and he just came up and said, thanked me. He said, "Man, you told me I was ready to come off, and you were right." And he was a guy, he'd been taking every third day, very low dose, for I want to say a year. I don't think it was quite a year, but it was a long time, and he was just never mentally prepared. And then finally, he got to that point. He stopped it, and he said he felt nothing, right? So, but if you want to work it around, like when you decide to completely stop, work it around like something like a vacation, time off, something where it's less stressful at work, less stressful at home, just like a long holiday weekend, something where just in case you have maybe mild symptoms, you could just fight through them. Yeah, again, at this low a dose, after you've been doing the every 3 days for a while, you're not going to have severe symptoms. So things to monitor, because you may not have the obvious super withdrawal symptoms like the flu, but you could have other problems. Like you may start feeling more depressed, more fatigued. Talk to your doctor about these things. Maybe you are depressed. Maybe you have maybe you need a little serotonin boost, dopamine boost from something else other than drugs, or other than medications, or maybe you need a medication, or maybe something else. Maybe you need to get your testosterone checked if you're a guy. Lots of things. Maybe you need to get your thyroid checked. Kind of look for these subtle symptoms and that you may not put together, but it may be part of the whole picture. Okay. So there, I hope that's helpful. Maybe that'll make the taper a little bit easier, and alleviate some of your fears of changing over to the strips or paying a little more money when you get to those low doses, because it'll pay off in the long run. Because if sooner you get off the money, the sooner you get off the medicine, the more money you're going to save with doctor's bills and prescriptions and drug screens and yada, yada, yada. All right, guys, I've rambled long enough. Hope that helps. Peace.